Case 2055. They thought he was an employee. They were wrong. He was the architect of a $200 million empire. For 3 years, he built their future while they built her K. He was the only one who knew how the gears actually turned. Without him, the company was just a shell of expensive promises. His contract had a secret, a clause they forgot to read twice. The CEO saw a $5 million bonus if he could just remove him. To him, he was a line item, an expense to be deleted. He was 10 days away from her life-changing stock options vesting. But the board had a different plan for his final week. The invitation to the emergency meeting wasn't about the IPO. It was about the execution of a $5 million betrayal. 10 days before the IPO, the boardroom felt like an icebox. No thank you, no good job. Just, your services are no longer required. The reason? Performance issues. A lie worth $5 million in saved stock. He thought he was being smart. He thought he was untouchable. With one signature, his 3 years of sweat and tears were officially shredded. They weren't just firing project manager from his position. They were robbing him of his future. He didn't scream, he didn't beg. He simply reached for his bag. He knew something they didn't. The data wasn't theirs, it was licensed. Section 12 of his contract. The clause that was about to become their nightmare. They wanted PM out immediately. No time to sabotage the system, they said. But the sabotage wasn't an act. It was an automatic legal requirement. PM was the owner of the IP, and the license just expired. While they celebrated their $5 million savings, the clock was ticking. HIA code wasn't a gift. It was a lease, and they just broke the terms. IPO day was coming, but the engine of the company was already shutting down. The first warning appeared in the basement. A simple access denied error. Clause 12.4. IP remains with the creator upon unlawful termination. The system realized its architect was gone. It began to protect itself. PM sat 5 miles away watching the sunset. His work was finished. In the office, the panic was just beginning. The core databases were encrypted. They didn't just fire a person, they fired the entire operating system. Without PM's specific encryption key, that $200 million platform was a paperweight. The lead dev turned pale. 3 years of data was dissolving into digital static. They thought PM was a ghost. Now, they were haunted by his absence. IPO morning was 48 hours away. The pressure was becoming lethal. The CEO was pacing his office like a trapped animal in the red light. The big investors were online. They wanted to see the final demonstration, but there was no demo, just a black screen and a flickering error. The replacement team tried to hack back in. They failed miserably. It wasn't a bug. It was a legal and digital wall. The company's valuation started to bleed out before the first trade was made. The legal team delivered the worst news. The contract was airtight. PM owned the heart of the machine, and he wasn't selling. 50 missed calls from the same man who laughed as he left. The red glare of the market was mocking their greed now. Finally, the CEO swallowed his pride. He dialed PM's number himself. The phone rang for the 51st time. This time, PM finally answered. CEO didn't start with an apology. He started with a frantic demand to fix it. PM let him rant for 2 minutes. He didn't say a single word. The silence on PM's end was more terrifying than any threat he could make. When the PM finally spoke, the price wasn't his old salary. It was for the IP. $50 million cash up front for a permanent usage license. CEO called it extortion. PM called it a market rate licensing fee. The opening bell was hours away. His board of directors were already calling. PM gave him 1 hour to decide. After that, he told him the price would double. The board had a choice: lose $5 million in stock or lose a $200 million company. The smartest man in the room was about to pay for his biggest mistake. $50 million landed in PM's account. The architect was back in control. $50 million, one single, deliberate click of the enter key. The blue light of order flooded the system, drowning the red chaos instantly. The platform was back. The heartbeat of the company was steady once more. The CEO breathed for the first time in 2 days. He thought he'd won. Opening bell was 90 minutes away. The digital foundation was finally solid. The valuation was restored. The $200 million dream was back on track. PM didn't stay for the applause. He was already heading to the airport. The world was ready to buy, but the company's real value had just left. The IPO went live. The numbers climbed. The board celebrated their genius move. They toasted to their victory, oblivious to the crater they'd left behind. They had the software, but they didn't have the architect or his secrets. The IPO was a success, but the fallout of Case 2055 was just beginning. 6 months later, the champagne went flat. They finally read Section 13. Section 13. Termination for cause without proof voids all non-compete clauses. PM didn't just take their 50 million. He took their entire talent pool. Every developer who knew the code followed the leader they actually trusted. When the market realized the brain was gone, the stock didn't just dip, it cratered. The CEO saved 5 million in stock options. He lost $1 billion in market cap. PM built the machine. He knew exactly how to take the soul with him. Greed is an expensive habit, especially when you're stealing from the person who owns the keys. Case 2055. They tried to unmask his value, but PM unmasked their incompetence. In the end, the only thing they had left was a very expensive lesson. Case closed, but the market never forgets a thief. What's your story? Send it to us. We're just getting started. Thanks a lot for watching, and we will be back with a new case.